my coffee. Hi, everybody. It's Stacey Calder from the Business Success Network and Magazine. If you caught me there, I was just saying, I haven't got my coffee because I normally have a coffee while I do these. Anyway, I am delighted to carry on with our sponsor lives this week. We had 3 last week. We're getting into it now. It is awards fever is creeping in. If you're not already in the Business Success Network UK group, get in there because there's lots of awards chatter, but there's lots of other chatter as well. And that's what we want. We want to bring businesses together. We want that whole community feel. And that's how I tied that in nicely with this, because Karen is sponsoring our Community of the Year award. And she's one of the finalists that I mentioned when I was chatting to Shelley last week, because Karen has supported the awards for every year that they have ran. So she's like a 3rd-time sponsor now. So what Karen doesn't know about sponsorships and how to get the most out of them, it's just not worth knowing. Hi, Karen.
Hello there. How are you?
I'm really well, and I'm just. Do you know what I was saying about this to Shelley and to some of the sponsors, like 1st-time sponsors? There's Dom Fenton. There's quite a few of you now where you've kind of like you've got it in the bag. We say, do you want to go? And you're like, yeah. So this is the 3rd time of sponsoring for you. Does that mean it's going to be the 3rd most amazing dress and handbag? I know, because we always discuss your shoes, your handbags. And last year, we were just saying, last year when we did this, we were mucking around with hats and things. We're not going to do that this year, are we? We're almost sensible.
I mean, I wouldn't go quite that far, but we've progressed.
So let's do a bit of an intro for you then. Tell everybody who you are, what your business is, what you've got coming up, all that kind of thing. And while you're doing that, I'm going to share this into the group so that people can see you and comment and things like that.
Marvellousness. I am Karen from Pony Courses. I do faff-free social media courses. I've got some subsidised courses actually starting this week, one on social media marketing for beginners and one on blogging for beginners. They are both absolutely free for anyone on universal credit or other means tested benefits. So fill your boots if that's you, pass it on if you know people who that would apply to. And I've got a face-to-face course coming up in Barnsley near the Yorkshire Sculpture Park for making reels, and it's going to be very exciting, and there may be frolicking and or shenanigans.
Frolicking and shenanigans on reels? I don't believe it. That's amazing. Is that, and that, well, that's not where, because you're not from there, are you? Are you travelling up to do so? Where are you? My geography is rubbish.
Yeah, it's not a million miles away, but there's a wonderful photographer and videographer up there called Colette, and she's got a studio. So she's like, I'm going to open up my studio. I'm going to tell you practically how to do all the bits about filming that I'm not an expert in, and here's lighting and all those practical things. So we're combining our skills, you see.
That's I love a collab. I love a collaboration.
I call them a Karen collaboration. Hello, Ben.
Karen collaboration. All these words, these tongue twisters, my brain can't cope with it. So if you are watching us live, do what Ben's done, say hi, comment. If you're watching it on replay, do hashtag replay, because it means that me and Karen can come back and answer any questions or anything like that. I love it when you say faff free, and I've sat through some of your, you've done some kind of guest speaking slots, you've done some trainings and things. I love it. One social media person to another, when you say faff free, it really is. I love that it's so simple is probably the wrong word, but it's just you do it in such a way that is easy for people to follow. It is faff free. There's none of this faff. There you go. Like me today, I'm faffing, clearly can't get my words out. There we go. So we got reels coming up. I also love the fact, and I think you are the only person, certainly within my network, and there's a lot of social media trainers and things like that in my network, that offers this universal credit, tax credits, other benefits, kind of discount, freebies. And that's amazing. Is that done through kind of funding and stuff like that? How do you work it?
Well, I've done it through a 3rd party because I did originally apply for funding, and my word, that is not faff free, and
No,
there's an enormous amount of paperwork, but there's also the amount of information I need to collect about people, and I don't necessarily want that. So doing it through a third party means they sort all the funding, all the money's done by them. People can just turn up, do the courses, it's all good. So that all works for me, to be honest, because I don't like having to contact people saying, "Oh, can you scan this document in?" and whatever
yeah.
else. It's not.
And that's one of the reasons I asked. Obviously, we've got the disabled entrepreneurs group
Mm.
now. That's very active. People are talking about access to work and all that kind of thing. And it's just kind of and I know through benefits systems and things like that, people have often talked about wanting to do stuff like this. But like you say, that they're putting out the tenders, the bids, the
Mm.
it is a blooming minefield sometimes. So
It's one of those things you just don't realise until you do it, and yeah, it is a lot, to be honest. And then there can be that thing that sometimes it's easy to get new funding, but then getting repeat funding can be more
yeah.
difficult, and it's a whole thing, to be
It's
honest.
a whole can of worms, which can put people off, which is sad.
Mm.
But I'm really glad you've got a workaround because I love that, and I love the fact that you share that within the networking, and I just think it's fantastic. So well done to you. What is your most popular course at the minute? Is it Reels? Because obviously social media just changes all the time. Let's face it. So you have to stay on your toes all the time.
Yeah, it's sort of goes through a bit of a cycle sometimes. Yeah, at the moment that's quite a popular one, and also one on sort of blogging and podcasting, sort of getting it out there, because loads of people create amazing content and not enough people see it, or they'll put it out and go, "Oh, well, that's done now. Let's move on to the next one." It's like,
Like
no,
writing a book, isn't it? You
yeah,
write the book, you put it on Amazon, they're like, right, it's done. And it's like, no, that's the start of it.
yeah, and it's like that time, money, effort that's gone into that. Like, use that, absolutely milk it, because if it's still relevant, it's still relevant. Put it out there.
Yeah.
People might not have seen it when it first went out, and also, get that return on your investment there, even if it's not money. Your time's precious, and if you've
Mhm.
spent time creating something wonderful, just make sure as many people as humanly possible do see it, because you never know who didn't see it first time round, or maybe it wasn't the right time when it came out, but now they sort of see the title and they'll go, "Oh, actually, that is quite interesting,"
And
or
you never know what's going to happen day to day in
yeah,
the news that's relevant. Suddenly you've got something,
yeah, yeah.
purpose it, reuse it. Absolutely. You mentioned podcasting there. Now we've got our own podcast here, but you have recently joined forces, another collaboration. You can see why I love this, can't you? And you
This is
can
a collaboration and a
and you can see
collaboration.
why you sponsor Community of the Year because you're all about using your community, and I love that. Um, just quickly, Ben says ATW is such a faff. Yes, it is.
But
Um,
make sure you keep all your documents for next year, so then you've got it all to start with.
sound advice that way. Um, so podcasting collaboration.
Mm.
Then there's three of you. Tell us about that.
Yep, it's with Jo O'Neill from Bright Cat and Claire from Sparkle's Gift Boutique. And we found we were sort of an inbuilt support community for each other. And we've all got chronic illnesses, and we probably spend about 10% of our day messaging each other going, "Have you had a break? Could you have another break? Have you hydrated? Are you okay?" and
But we laugh, and actually, we are champions of the cheerleaders here. We love people that support each other. It's part of our whole ethos. And I've seen, I've networked with you guys when, the meeting ends at 9:30 and we're still chatting away at midnight, 1 a.m. sometimes, in old money lockdown days and things like that. But you three have really got this connection where you genuinely do check in on each other. It's how are you, and it's lovely to see, and it's lovely to have been a witness to some of that. So tell us about the podcast then. Why, you're checking in on each other. You all said you've all got chronic illnesses. What's the podcast about, and what's it going to do for the listeners?
Yeah, podcast is called Three Spoonies, and the idea is it's things we've discovered that work, because with chronic illness it can be an absolute minefield of people, sometimes very well-meaning people, talking nonsense, or you not knowing where to start. And because we found sort of this support network, but we realised not everyone has that. Not everyone has someone around them who understands what it's like to say, do you know what, I feel dreadful today, can we reschedule? Or who needs a workaround to say, I can't work 9 to 5, I will explode and melt. What's another way I can do it? So we're sort of different theme every week. Some guest experts coming on, giving more information about things we don't know enough about. And it's all just there as suggestions. Here's something we found that works. You can give that a go. Here's someone who's got some knowledge. Go and find out what they've got to say, just as a starting point, really, because sometimes you don't have that, or sometimes there's a particular topic where you think, I wouldn't know where to start with that. So it's to get the conversation going, and also to have a bit of honesty as well. It's not like, if you just believe a bit more and try a bit harder, then you'll stop being ill and everything will magically be perfect. And it's like, no, I wish.
There is a massive difference between that positive thinking and have it and generally, there is that thing of getting up in the morning, oh, it's Monday, that everyone has, and there is that, no, actually I can't get up, it's Monday. And I think as somebody without a chronic illness, I'm very aware, and I've had this conversation with Joe actually when we set up the Disabled Entrepreneurs Group. I'm very aware that I don't want to come in and exactly what you said, go blip, 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 and have no clue, upset someone, say the wrong thing. But sometimes it can stop you having those conversations because you don't want to say the wrong thing. Like, I would never want to offend you or Claire or Joe or anyone in that group. And I did, when we first set it up, I was called out on running a group because I'm not disabled. And I was absolutely called out on it. And that's fine. We're never going to please everybody. But I was really glad that I'd had that conversation with Joe to start with, to say, look, I understand why you want to do it. You're going to take the lead on this, because otherwise I would feel I don't want to put my foot in my mouth, basically. And I always do that at the best of times without actually doing it to, anyway. So there is this kind of, I love that. I love that you are bridging that gap, that you are having real, frank conversations. Podcasting is, it's kind of really popular at the minute. So it's a great way to get out there. And I have to say, I love the name.
Yeah, we spent so long looking at a name, and we came back to Three Spoonies, which was, I think, the first thing we suggested. So.
I love it. And that group, that kind of network has really, so I'd never heard about the spoons analogy until I met you guys. And you do these daily or these weekly check-ins. So it's how are your spoons? And I love that. And I actually used it with someone the other day that I work with really regularly. They were having a bit of a real struggle mental health wise, and I talked about spoons, and I said, how many spoons, how are you? And I would never have used that if it wasn't for you guys. So I absolutely love it. If you don't know what we're talking about, go and Google spoon theories.
Spoon theory. Yeah,
because it's brilliant, whether you're able-bodied, not able-bodied, whether I just love it. I think it's great now. I think I said to Joe the other day, I'm out of spoons. I've gone through the forks. The knife drawer is empty.
Yeah.
Like, everything was just one of those days.
Yeah, I think that's the thing as well, that you don't have to necessarily have an official diagnosis of something. And you do have times where things just get on top of you, or where it's just a bit too much. And it's also perfectly okay to say, do you know what, I'm tired. And there'll be some people who go, oh, well, you don't really know what tired is until da-da-da-da. And it's like, well, no, but none of us know anyone else's experience. And I think it's fine to say, do you know what, I'm exhausted, I'm tired, this is too much. And we all sort of need to acknowledge that and be a bit kinder to ourselves as well, which is something we're not always all great at.
We are not great, are we? We're really good. saying to people, I certainly am,
Mm.
make sure you have breaks, make sure you hydrate. That's why I said, look at you, see, you're really good. I just said I haven't even brought my coffee with me. Make sure you hydrate, do all those things. And I can promise you, my husband is sat this side of me, and he's probably laughing, going, "Yeah, what time did you get off the laptop this week?" There's things like that, isn't there? So, but you have to recognise it, and I am better at recognising the whole burnout, the switching off,
Mm.
that kind of thing. It is mega important. Coming back to the awards then, third year of sponsoring.
Mhm.
Like, I'm pretty sure we're going to have the Karen Duncan award by the end of, I don't know. It's just like, you're part of the furniture now, Karen. We love you at the BSM Awards. You always rock up with the most amazing bags, shoes, dresses, everything else. I love it. I love everything about you. You bring a certain style and charm with you. And it's always great to sit. You do, and it's always great to sit and have a drink with you afterwards and all that kind of thing. Why Community of the Year?
Well, I think it had to be community for me. I think it's so important to all of us who have people around us who understand, and especially if you do work on your own, you can feel really adrift sometimes. So to
Mm.
have other people you can connect with who understand, whether it's people who are going to support each other or people who could offer advice, or just sometimes having a bit of a sounding board to say, look, I've got this idea. Does it sound rubbish? Is that okay? Or, sometimes you sort of type something out, you say it out loud, and you've solved the problem for yourself as you're doing it, but it's only because of that bit of communication you had. So I think we all need communities, whether it's online, whether it's face to face, whatever that's based on. I think it can be
And it's
really
so
important.
varied, isn't it? Like the
Mm.
nominations that we get,
Oh gosh, yeah,
finalists that
hugely.
we get. I always, and I know when we put it out on Instagram the other day, you were one of the first to comment, and you're like, "Wow, look at all these different communities. Everything is so, you never know what you're going to get. You never know whether it's going to be a charity
Mm.
group. You don't know if it's going to be a crikey, I don't know, a fitness group. You don't know if it's going to be a mum or parent group. We just have no idea, and so we try to keep it really varied. And I know
Mm.
that you straight away you're like, look at all these communities I can go off and have a look in and network with. And do you find it really? Do you go off? Do you go off and look at the finalists and kind of have
Oh,
a look?
absolutely. Well, I mean, part of what I do is to promote all the finalists as well, because I think, even if you don't win, you're a finalist, you've come ahead of that
Mm,
many other people and, use that platform because it maybe there's someone out there who really needs your community and didn't know you existed. And, it's one of those things we don't know what we don't know. And sometimes you come across something and go, oh, okay, that's niche, but that's going to solve a problem for someone.
mm. And it is, isn't it? With community, like you said, you don't know if you don't know. I was talking to someone about a kinship group that had set up recently in our area. And it's really interesting because when I commented to a local councillor about it, they said, there's been one running for 10 years. And I was like, I beg to differ because I've been asking for one for 10 years.
Mm.
So, if there is, you're either really rubbish at making it visible to your audience, or there isn't.
Yeah, well, it can be a bit of both sometimes, or sometimes you don't know the term to look for. Like if you didn't know what spoonie meant, you wouldn't look for spoonie. And it's, sometimes you come across something or an idea, and it's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. And it's sort of there's so many things out there and so many different ways of doing things as well. Sometimes the first thing you come across, you can go, yeah, that's not for me. And then you can find something else that's like, actually, that's a really good fit. And because we are all so, so different and different backgrounds, different resources, sometimes different belief systems or things like that, it's like, actually, that way of explaining it makes sense to me, whereas this one maybe doesn't. That and sort of all the sort of grassroots things that people set up because they had to because there wasn't something there before. The number of people who can then go, oh, thank goodness you started that because
Mhm.
I've needed that and it's not been there. But it takes that person to sort of stand up and say, right, this is what we're focusing on. This is what we're going to do, and to put themselves out there, which can be a bit difficult because, like you said, sometimes you don't want to say, "Oh, I am a guru, I'm a complete expert at this," because that could be a difficult thing to do, and other people's experiences may absolutely vary. So it does take a lot of guts to stand up and say, "Look, I'm starting this community. Come along, bring your opinions, bring your experience, and let's see where we go with that."
I love that. I really do. And I think because you do a lot of networking, you know a lot of people, you've networked over the years, we've networked together. Um, exactly what you said. When you come across a community, it's almost like, okay, this isn't for me, but I know XYZ that can
Yeah,
totally benefit from this. Or you're having the other way around, you're having a conversation with someone and you sit there and you go, oh, hang on a minute, there was a finalist last year that, yeah, hang on. Right.
yeah.
And then you've got the details, and your friend, your colleague, whoever is then really grateful because you've got them into a community of people where, it can be really helpful to them. So I love it. I love everything you do. What are you most looking forward to, apart from obviously getting up on stage and handing the award out to the winner? What are you most looking forward to this year?
Interesting question. Yeah, it's
Put you on the spot a little bit.
yeah, I sort of quite like being there for sort of new people because I remember that first year, but it's like, what's going to happen and what do we have to do?
What do we expect?
And will people have a problem with the fact I have a dinosaur dress on? And
Are we doing dinosaurs this year?
there's some options, but I will give a bit of a spoiler and say if anyone was going to wear axolotl shoes, best not because we'll clash. So
See that to me, I just love that. My son has been doing axolotl Minecraft Lego, so my living room has now been taken over. I've had to buy shelving for all this Minecraft Lego, and one of which is the axolotl, and it's his favorite. So it's a good job he's not coming because he would probably try to steal your shoes.
oh, then I'd have to walk home barefoot. That would be a terrible state of affairs. I don't want to wrestle my shoes off someone.
And you certainly don't want to wrestle George either. Let's face it. So yeah, so
No one's coming out of that well.
so axolotl shoes, everybody. Don't do it because you will clash with Karen. I love that. I love that. I love the dinosaur dresses. What was it last year? What dress was it? It was like a green. Was there something on it?
Oh, well, most certainly. I can't remember which one was it. Was it the one with the cityscape on? I
It
don't
could
know.
be. It could have been. I definitely remember the handbag. That was like a clock, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, that's a good bag. I like that bag.
Very good. And this is what I love about the awards. Someone said to me the other day, it says black tie. Does it have to be? It was a guy. Does it have to be black tie? Can it be like blazer, trousers? And we're like, look, just, dress to impress, do your own style. We've got a couple of stylists coming into the group, actually, a guy and a female, and they're going to talk about different styles and things. So I bet they haven't come across your shoes, though. Guarantee it.
Maybe. Who knows? There's new things to find.
So for all those new people that are going to be in the room that are watching this, don't worry. As Karen said, she's been here for 3 years now. She knows the drill. And even when we drop in surprises, the kind of the running order is very similar. So Karen will know her stuff. Go and have a chat with her. She's very approachable, very friendly. And if nothing else, you can talk about shoes. Oh,
That's true.
Neil, look. Oh, you've got a contender. Karen and Matt has the best style.
Oh, Matt's boots. And,
Matt's red Cuban shoes last year.
they were quite the eye catcher. Not literally, thankfully, because
And
health and
actually,
safety.
Sam Perry, he had some purple aubergine coloured shoes, if I remember right. Because the three of you were in the bar afterwards. And I was admiring all 3 sets of shoes there. I promise you, there is serious work to be done with these awards, but we also talk about shoes and bags and stuff. It's allowed.
Have both. I think, in fact, you should have both. Not necessarily shoes, but everyone's got their thing they're a bit geeky about, and that's how you make your connections, isn't it? If you're really
really
into golf
is.
or knitting or whatever, there's something that you can just connect with someone on that, and that's your starting point. And then you don't need to bother with the small talk. You can just get straight into, okay, we both like this thing. There's the connection.
Joe, me a geek? No. If I remember those geeky Facebook geeky networking meetings. I love them. I want to bring them back. That's another conversation, Karen. I think we need to have. So new people that have been there before. Like you said, networking. You love speaking to people. What now? I asked you this last year, and you were the most specific person I've just remembered to give me an answer when I said, who would you love to talk to in the room? Who would you like to come up to you and say, hey, this is me, this is what I do? Now, last year you said to me you wanted peach flavoured vegan sweets, didn't you? Do you remember? And I was
Yes,
like,
I did. Yes.
most people just say sole traders or accountants, but you were so specific, and it was brilliant because I went off and I started looking at peach sweets and all sorts, and yeah, there we go. So who is it this year?
Yeah, not so specific this year. I think this year I just want to talk to people really in general. It's and also if anyone is coming along, you are feeling a bit nervous or out of place, just come and find me. Even if you just want to stand quietly and you don't want anyone to bother you, come join us. Please do. I would rather you did that than felt awkward. So I'm the one with this face and with axolotl shoes. So
Whether
come
you're
find
looking
me.
at her face or her shoes, she's recognisable. But I think that's a really important thing. In previous awards for previous companies, I used to be really we would lock the main room down, whether you were a sponsor, whether you were an attendee, whether you were a supplier and you were dropping stuff off, that door was locked. Like the only people that would see it before the actual unveiling of the room was myself and the very small team. And we've realised, even from that first awards 3 years ago, that there was a lot of people within the community that would struggle with things like social anxiety, event anxiety, that just wouldn't know we had somebody up in their hotel room, ready in their tux. Mr. C went up and got them and brought them down and sat them with, it was all, we try and do everything we can. We've had younger teenagers there, social anxiety, where we've said, come in beforehand, we'll show you where your seat is, we'll show you where the stage is, just have a bit of a walk through. So we are very aware that there are people out there that might be nervous, that might struggle. We always ask, when you book your tickets, we don't just ask for dietary requirements. You'll have seen that we ask for any access requirements and any other thing that we need to be aware of. So it might be auditory, it might be visual, it might be that you need, to be sat next to the door, ready to go to the toilet, whatever it is. But I think this feeling of, oh, it's my first event, I'm coming on my own. We've had a lot of people say, I'm coming on my own, I don't know anyone. And it's great to be able to have these people go and speak to Karen, and we'll have those conversations in the Facebook communities. I know you and Joe have been kind of rounding up the troops in her group, in the Disabled Entrepreneurs group. There's Rachel's been doing it with the children's activity providers in her groups. So what it means is we're going to have a really kind of supportive place. We've got that, the bar is outside of the main room. So we've always got that kind of space where you can take yourself out if you want to. But it's, let us know. And as you said, if what Karen has said kind of resonates with you, connect with Karen, go and speak to her, go and find her. You can't miss her in her shoes, let's face it.
It's true.
But I know you travel up kind of the day before, you travel back the day after to make it easier for you and to give yourself a bit of a break as well, don't you?
Yeah, and we have room spa, and if anyone's finding the Wi-Fi is a bit slow, we've worked out how to hack it. So, top tips.
Oh my God, I hope there's no one from the venue here watching. Oh dear. I did say we'd do about half an hour, Karen. Let's end it then. Where can people find you? If they want to do your courses, if they want to see this faff-free social media, where can they find you? Where, apart from the awards and the BSN groups, where can they get you?
Yeah, if you look for Pony or Pony courses, sort of all over the place. Hopefully your preferred platform, and also the podcast as well, Three Spoonies, wherever you get your podcast usually, or on YouTube with subtitles. And we've done our own, so don't worry, it's not the YouTube subtitles because they're so bad.
Yeah, they can be, can't they? They are a little bit. It's always fun to hear how my name comes out, or something happens.
Yeah, well, it got all of our names wrong, and it ended with "Don't keep track of your spoons." And we're like, no, that's the opposite. Don't know. Don't not never keep track of non-spoons. No. It's like it's very
Yeah.
confusing.
It's great when it works, not so great when it doesn't work. Gotta love tech. Got to love tech.
True enough. True enough.
Well, I'm really excited to see you on the 29th of June. It's been far too long since I've seen you and everybody else, and I can't wait to raise a glass to you. And thank you so much for sponsoring. I can't believe it's been 3 years. It's been, 3 years. It's amazing. I can't wait. We've got some surprises in store. I'm sure you're going to love it. You'll get to maybe channel some inner music geek or something, maybe.
No, that could be of interest.
That's all I'm going to say. My lips sealed. Right. Thank you so much for watching. As I said, do go and connect with Karen. She loves to meet you. If you are in the Community of the Year finals, definitely reach out to her and have a conversation. She wants to hear about your community. She wants to hear about yourselves, who your audience is. Like she said, she networks a lot and she can connect you and put people in there. But also, if you're going to be at the awards, do go over, say hello to her, introduce yourself, tell her what you do. And you never know, you might end up being a guest on her podcast. Who knows? Right, that's it from us. I'm going to leave you for, it's lunchtime. Let's go and grab some lunch because I am totally late with mine earlier. Poor old Karen had to come on and I was sat trying to food in my mouth, so that didn't work. Anyway, if you're not already in the Business Success Network UK group, head on over. You just need to search it on Facebook, Business Success Network UK. There's loads of awards talk, but there's also loads of tools, tips, and techniques to grow you and grow your business. And I'm going to ask Karen to go and put all her courses in there as well, so that if you've watched this and you want to know a quick link, we'll drop them here. Thank you very much, Karen, and I will speak to you very soon.
Bye.
With a little bye.